Breuer's longtime friend Jimmy Shaka joins us today, along with Brian McKenna, to discuss if JFK Jr. is really dead and the 1940 Disney classic Pinocchio. If you like that movie, you might not now. All this and more when we dive deep into Breuers Bunker.
What's happening? Okay, so I keep talking about it, and today is the first time we're gonna do, which the Patreon, you the listeners, you're the one that came up with the name for this. It's called Breuers Bunker. Now, when I used to have a radio show on Sirius Satellite Radio, it was called Breuer Unleashed, and we used to back then call it, let's take a walk in the woods. We're going in the woods. And I would go into theories, which everyone today tries to call conspiracy theories. What are you, some kind of conspiracy theorist? Which is pretty amazing because basically conspiracy is a theory. It's a thought process, which if you really look into it, and I'm wearing, I don't know why I'm wearing sunglasses. I just figured if we're going to go in the weird, not weird, I shouldn't label, nothing's to be labeled. What we're going to do today, not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong, just things I think are weird. They're just weird. I mean, we're going to look at some things that are going to blow your mind if you're willing to just sit back and be entertained. Now, again, I don't know from squat in the wall, but these are things that I've seen and I've thought about, like, what is it? What is that? Why, what the hell is going on there? And when I would explain people, they'd go, oh, dude, that's conspiracy. But then I'd show them and I'd go, whoa, that is weird. So what we're going to show you today on Breuers Bunker is actual things, and you determine what they are. It could be nothing. It could be stupidity. It could be fake. It could be, it's entertaining, but these things have flipped my mind, and I'm not just going to put it out there. I'm going to show you why these thoughts are there. Okay. Now, again, I'm not saying I believe them. I'm not saying I don't believe them. All I'm saying is we're going to the bunker and we're going to have some fun with this. So, I'm going to need from, I don't want to say all the subjects because if you're not into it immediately, you're going to be like, what? I'm going to have to. We're going to look into things like movies, in certain scenes that you've looked at in Disney that you never would have imagined it may have had a messed up meaning to it. And I'm not talking about, some people say, hey, they do sexual things in Disney, which are true. They're definitely true. But this goes with Epstein's Island. And again, I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that's weird. It's weird. What the hell is going on? Now, I need help with this. So I'm going to bring in one of my specialists, my good friend, who when we would go far out there on Breuer Unleashed, the original Breuers Bunker, and we'd say we go into the woods, it was my good friend Jimmy Shaka. Okay. So Mike, now,
yeah,
and we're going to get into some stuff. I'm going to do editing for you here. So we're going to get into some stuff today. Now, there's two things that have been absolutely flipping my mind out. These are conspiracy theories. Some people believe this is 100% true. Some people think you're bat crazy, out of your mind. But we'll leave that up to you. Now, the first one is JFK Jr. Now, if you don't know anything about him, JFK Jr. obviously is JFK's son, who last we really known went down in a plane crash, I believe in 1999, right, Mike? Something like that. And he was about to run. He was going to run for senator of New York against who? Hillary Clinton. And miraculously, he died a couple days later in a plane crash. Everyone knew he was going to win. I mean, he was a Kennedy. He's going to win. He's good looking. He's doing all the talk show. All the women loved him. He put out a magazine, which gets really weird. And all this jazz. So now he was nowhere. When I say nowhere on my radar, COVID hit and the world shut down. Everyone's indoors. Everyone's on a tablet. Everyone's watching the Tiger King or whatever entertainment they're giving you while they're keeping you scared to death and sneaking in backyards for haircuts. All these wild things are going all over the place. And one of them was this JFK Jr. And some people believe that he faked it all. And it's been a 20-year mission to start a war to take down everything we know as we see it today. Right now, this is, again, some of you going, wait a minute, wait a minute, dude, I can't go. I'm going to present to you some stuff here. This ain't just from nowhere. Okay. And one of the things he said, I don't know the exact quote. I think the quote is, I will expose my father's killers, even if it takes bringing down my own government. Now, I started really thinking about that. If James Breuer, who was a war veteran, was in World War II and all that jazz, all 5 Breuers went into World War II. All 5 battled, all 5 returned. That's a miracle story. Praise God. And they murdered my father in public for the world to see over and over and over again. I don't know how I'd react, but I think at some point there'd be some vengeance in me. Now, maybe a loving vengeance or a hateful vengeance. I'm not sure which one. I'm not in those shoes, so I can't judge it or think about it. But that statement makes a lot of sense. And he went to law school, apparently, and he knew politics. And at one point, he wrote a letter, a handwritten letter to Joe Biden. And the letter supposedly said, and it is out there, I don't know if you can find it, it said, you are a traitor to the United States of America. And I don't know if he talked about treason in this, but this was back in the 90s. Think about that. JFK Jr. wrote to Joe Biden and said, you are a traitor to the United States of America. And that part is fact. Now, here's where it starts getting wacky. This is when I started going, all right, something weird. He had a magazine called George Magazine. Can we see that, Mike? Do you have any covers of George Magazine? This cover with things inside of it, like articles inside, basically say, let's skip to the year 2020. Now, this is in the 90s. This is like 98, somewhere on that. This is a real magazine. This is not fake. This is a real magazine. look at what it says. Bill Gates. I can't read it all. There you go. Bill Gates talks to John Kennedy about Murdoch, money, and world domination. Who's pretty much got a lot of domination right now? Bill Gates. That's weird right there. Then it says, can politically incorrect Bill Maher make it to the big time? This is in the 90s. Then it goes, indictment day. Will Hillary get busted? Now, why would that be? This is the year 2020 that he's projecting. This is in the 90s. 1997 is when he's projecting that Bill Gates, world domination, and Hillary Clinton being indicted. That's weird. Now, here's something else weird. Look at Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore has a full moon over it. Now, again, you may think this is all crazy. We don't know. Whether you like Trump or not, it has nothing to do whether you like him or not. But on 4th of July, 2020, he gave a speech at Mount Rushmore when the moon was full behind him.
Great speech.
That's weird. But that ain't weird to you? That ain't weird? I think that's weird. I think it's a little wacky. Now, I didn't look into the inside of the magazine, but that alone, what the hell is going on?
Hey, Jimbo.
Yes.
That particular magazine, that was February of 1997. You should have a PDF for it online somewhere. It has been scrubbed from the internet. The only thing you can find are like this one little clip of his interview with, did you talk about Bill Gates? Because Bill Gates is in there, right?
Yeah.
He does an interview with Bill Gates, and you can only find a PDF of just a little tiny clip of that. And they edited it out. There's some things I'm going to show you. I had some little screenshots.
All right. Michael put those up there too, because I think they're trying to get you. You definitely are a little scratchy, so I'm going to I can hear you good, but it's got a little going on behind you.
Okay, he said it sounded better,
So what did it say? So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What do you think that is? You think that's just crazy coincidence that some guy puts out a magazine, he dies in a plane crash, he's one of the most profound people in the world, from probably the most popular president in history, says, I'm going to take down my government if that's who the killers of my father is, and then puts out a magazine in 97, says in 2020, will Hillary get indicted finally? Bill Gates, world domination. What the full moon in front of Mount Rushmore and Trump's there? Like, what the hell is going on? And I also saw where they started interviewing him. And I started going online looking at these interviews. And there's two weird things. He's with Jay Leno, and he brings up Monica Lewinsky, and he talks about pizza. We're not going to get into the whole pizza thing right now. But he
brought up pizza. Junior.
Brings how she compared herself to pizza. All right. Now, that's another whole thing we're not going to get into today. But we might, because we're going into Epstein's Island, which is connected perhaps to the Disney World. Now, with that said, he says in one of his things, they said, are you going to run for president? And in the 90s, he says, I don't know about that, but I could see my good friend, Donnie Trump.
Yep.
He said Donnie Trump. He would get this place back to law and order. And I went, when I saw him do that, I went, bing, what? It made me wonder. There were so many things that made me wonder, like, I always believed, and we talked about, Jim.
Yeah.
Politics is professional wrestling. It's like,
yep.
we get together and go, you're going to be the bad guy for the next 6 years. I'm going to be the good guy. I'm going to talk about all the crappy things you did, and you're going to do all the great things. And then this is how we're going to campaign. I'm going to do this. My opponent believes in that. Boo. And then the other side comes out like, Mike Pram, they don't want your rights. Boo. I'm going to give you rights.
Divide and conquer.
Boo. I'm against gay people. It's such great, it's theater. It's brilliant theater. And we play I want a t-shirt that says I want my rights. I want a t-shirt that says build the wall. I want a t-shirt that says everybody should live free everywhere. I believe in sodomy. I believe in pride. I believe in you should cut your penis off. And I believe we should hug trees. I believe in the climate change. It's all like, again, boop, 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 it's all amazing. I sit back like John Lennon. I'm just sitting here watching the world go round and round. But every time I'm like, what is going on? So that stuff started really intriguing me. And I went, how far back is this planned? Like, was it planned a long time ago? Is he alive? Is he dead? There was a thing that Trump did too that threw me off. He was doing an interview on ABC. I could be wrong. He was doing an interview for a news thing, and they were in the Oval Office, and he's got a little picture of JFK and JFK Jr. And he says, oh, this is John. He was about to he was talking about he was going to be a political force. He's coming back. He said something like he's coming back, and he said he's a good friend of mine. Now, Jimbo, if you pass away, I'm not going to say Jimbo's a good friend of mine. I'm going to say Jimbo is a dear friend of mine because you're gone. Now maybe that's Freudian slip. I don't know. And then the other weird thing was, you saw the one with his brother when his brother was doing some. Robert Kennedy Jr. was not his brother, his cousin was doing I don't know. He was doing something online. Someone scrolled and asked, "Is JFK Jr. alive? If he is, scratch your nose." And he purposely looked at the camera and went like this. And you're like, dude,
right?
Are they messing with, like, what? Why would you do, like, why would you? What? The great conspiracies. Jimbo, I don't like thinking about it. It exhausts me. And also such little pawns in it all that I just go, but what is it? Like, do you ever have any, like, what is this? What is it?
Can you hear me okay?
You sound amazing now.
Oh, okay, great. All right. I switched the mic, so fine.
Amazing.
What do I think about all this stuff? I sometimes it's like, first of all, I can't look at television and think any of that is like real life. You know what I mean? It's such, first of all, it's all being paid for. It's all, nothing is on television without somebody footing the bill saying, this is what I want you to, put out there.
And it's all edited.
Right.
And purposely put out for a purpose, for your emotions, to control your actions and your emotions.
Right.
I tell people that all the time. News is nothing but emotional heroin to make you feel important. Oh God, please let this fit my narrative so I can go and talk to all my friends and debate them and fight and argue, because everything they're saying how I want to feel and what I want to hear. That's all it is. That's all it is.
So but the television, they have to come up with some kind of crazy bullshit to keep you coming back. Oh, what's going on today? Wait till you see what happens tomorrow. And oh, this is coming down the road. And you know what I mean? It's like to keep you tuned in so they can sell orange juice or whatever they're selling. You know what I mean?
And it makes me wonder, though, is the internet doing the same thing? Like, but what throws me off is that magazine. That magazine is weird. It's weird.
All right. So did JFK die back then? He just happened to say he was going to run against Hillary Clinton. Why is it always Hillary? Like it's, but so he happens to say he's going to run against Hillary Clinton, right, in the Senate. Next thing you know, his plane goes down mysteriously, right? So did it or did it not? I just saw a newspaper clip from back in the day when it happened, and it said that Mike can actually pull it up. I showed him the clip. It said that there it is. The Kennedy crash footage vanishes. Like, isn't that interesting? That, the most important things in the world, and like, oops, like the moon landing. Oops, we lost the film. How
did we? You know what? Son of a gun.
I had it here somewhere.
I should have had a V8. I can't believe I had it on my dresser drawer, the whole moon landing, and
right.
How did we
right.
lost it? This JFK crash, we just lost everything. That is weird.
Not only did we lose the footage of the moon landing, but it looked like it was filmed in like 1937, because it's like this black and white shaky thing. It was the 60s. Look at other important things in the 60s. The Beatles, they had color. Elvis, there's color, right? Moon landing, biggest thing on the planet. It's like my connection today, right?
Right. And it's funny because when you talk about seeping in the mind, I started thinking a long time ago how powerful communication is when it's controlled. And when you listen to elders talk, they say, "Ooh, we remember when the radio came out." And when the radio came out, we would all, as like groups, they were like mini concerts. You would all gather around the living room around this little speaker, and they would listen to whatever was being played. And then you can't tell me whoever had that technology went, if we can control households and mothers and fathers and children, we can make it even bigger. And that is the beginning of we can train you how to dress, how to think, what music to listen to, and then you put a television. People talk about, I remember when television came out and we all sat around, and you hear that story of when Orson Welles, was that the guy who said being invaded by aliens, and people started killing themselves. You don't think mind control works? These are educated, went to college, 4-year doctorate degrees, jumping off buildings because they believe, without even questioning, the television and radio. The same is today, but on a hyper extended level, because there's so many. Anyway, I totally believe that. I know it. It's a fact.
No, I was going to say, I always find it interesting. They say Marconi invented the radio, which he didn't. It was actually my buddy here, Nikola Tesla, right, who invented the radio. But nobody knows, no one knows who invented the television, the most important device in all of modern history. Like, he should be like the name Edison. You say Edison, light bulb, the phonograph, You know what I mean? You don't.
Like, what?
Nobody knows.
What? You're absolutely right. Like, who created that? That should be one of the biggest names in human history.
Right.
Without doubt. That's like a big freaking. Who did
Isn't
it?
that strange?
Who's his name?
I don't know. But that's the point. I don't know who the guy was. Somebody did it, right?
Yes. So, and of course, as soon as I start this, there's people with leaf blowers outside. So I don't
Right, and headphones and a microphone pointing at your room. Right.
I heard the mention Epstein Island and Disney. We're talking JFK. Please, we're nobody. We're just two dummies just trying to get through life like you. So
yeah, but so I heard about the I remember hearing a story about the guy who invented the television. I don't know his name. Nobody hears him. But he invented it. He said this is going to be a way that we can like raise humanity to this beautiful level. We can teach the whole world, educate the whole world. He was like a huge humanitarian guy that he brought this out to benefit mankind. Somebody grabbed it and said, pay no attention to to that guy. You know what I mean?
Yes. Almost like I saw this video, I don't know, a while ago, and it was hard to find. It just popped up on TikTok again, all over, where a guy basically created a car that runs on tap water. He used 30 gallons of tap water and drove across the whole country, and then he had what a shocker.
Oh, yeah. That was
he died.
Meyer. His name was something Stanley Myers, his name was. He invented, I know all about the guy. I actually, during Hurricane Sandy, you're going to like this story, right? Yeah. You remember, what was it, maybe 10 years ago, Hurricane Sandy?
It was
right?
2012, I think.
Whatever it was. On Long Island, it's like, and probably Jersey too, we were all running out of gas. None of the gas stations were open, right? So I didn't have a generator. But I did have a lawnmower and a treadmill motor, which, long story short, I turned it into, with a fan belt, I turned it into a homemade generator.
I remember you did that. I remember asking you, like, how did you do that, man?
But the cool part is what I did after that was, once we started running out of gas, if you put a couple of like metal plates in a bucket of water, and you put like positive electricity, the plus and the minus over here and over here, it's going to start bubbling up. Those bubbles are hydrogen, which is like the Hindenburg. You know what I mean? Remember the thing about the Hindenburg blowing up, right?
Right.
So you just cap that off. You get a tube. You run the tube back into the carburetor. And now all of a sudden I'm running my little homemade generator on water. It was as simple as that. Yeah, man.
You wonder,
this has it's coming out, man. It's all coming out.
It's almost like the whole world has been enslaved mentally.
Yeah.
Should know and what you shouldn't know, so that you can be under control, and slowly but surely the dam is breaking.
Yep.
But as Yoda said, never underestimate the power of the dark side. So just as powerful as the light gets, the dark is plotting to bring it down hard, which I really believe we're in those times. We've always been in those times, but I feel like it's really intensifying right now. So that's just me, though. But I do think,
you know what,
love and light always wins, no matter what.
I'm a big fan of Edgar Casey, right? They called him the sleeping prophet. This guy would like close his eyes and basically put himself in a meditation, and all of a sudden he would say like the wisdom of the universe, and then he'd wake up and say, "What did I say?" Like he had no idea, right? Really cool stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, one of the things he would say was, he goes, something like how the Lord loves those who he tests, right? Like when you're getting your ass kicked by the world, right? He's like, you should be like, in a way, thankful and saying like, this is the universe's way of testing you. Like think about a plant, right? As a plant is growing, if it doesn't have the wind banging it this way, banging it that way, it grows up to be this weak thing, right? A tree, a big, strong, powerful tree. It's because the wind is kicking its ass all the time, and that's how it becomes strong. So maybe that's what we're going through.
Could be, and I will tell you this from my own personal experience. I get these cluster headaches, and the only time I really get a cluster headache is when there's a big change going on and I feel way too much stress, and I bring the stress on, and I try to figure out how to do this. And the minute I go, I go, God, I can't. It's just, I don't want, I'm done with this. This is all whatever it will be. That's the journey.
Right.
It's the journey. I'm going to accept the journey. I'm tired of trying to hold this, take it away. And it goes away.
Wow.
Hey,
Jim.
Jim.
The last 2-3 weeks. Some drugs help. Don't kid yourself.
Hey, Jim.
So this is what I want to get into too.
Hello.
Mike's trying to cut in.
Jim.
Say something.
What's up, Mike?
Hey, speaking of cluster headaches, I got Brian McKenna here. You want to bring him in?
Yeah, let's bring him in.
All right, cool.
Hey, Bri.
Hey guys, I'm glad we left planet Earth for this podcast.
We haven't gotten into UFOs yet.
No, I heard. Listen. Let me start off with this. JFK Jr. is dead. Okay, he ain't coming back. The guy's dead. All right, and his magazine is classic. When a guy has too much money and doesn't know what to do with it. Okay, he's like, oh, put the moon in the back. Fuck it. Who cares? Nobody knows. No one's reading this fucking thing. That has not. Please, that. And look, I'm all for conspiracy theories. I believe Hillary Clinton is a shapeshifter because I've never seen her, but I know she's out there. Like I know Hillary has got. I know some shit is going on with Hillary. But JFK Jr. is dead, man. Now his father is also dead. Okay. His father's also dead. I watched the video. I watched his head explode. I watched it multiple times. I watched it in slow motion. I'm Irish Catholic, Long Island. My father had a JFK picture in the fucking living room. Right. Sorry for cursing. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm at. He had a JFK picture in the living room. I wish he would be alive. It would be great. But that's what happens, JFK, when you sleep with a mafia boss's mistress. You get your head blown off. That's what happens, because that's the truth. He slept with a mafia boss's mistress, and then all of a sudden, magically, his head was, it's what it is. That's what happens.
It's all. Can we all agree it was not Lee Harvey Oswald?
No. Why would Jack Ruby shoot him?
Right. Very good.
Sense. Makes no sense. Jack Ruby wouldn't have shot him if it was just him. Why would Jack Ruby have anything? He has nothing to do with anything. He walks up, and not only did they shoot him, they shot him on TV to let anyone else know. If you talk, now, we're shooting you.
Let's go on that theory. It is television, and you'll believe whatever you put out there. No one's going to question anything. We'll just leave it as that.
Well, that's true. I mean, I think that was. You're not wrong. The stuff that's on TV is definitely a.
I'm not going to prove anything right or wrong. I'm just saying a thought process.
Well, no.
It goes all the way back to then, even to the shooting. The shooting's very weird. It's very weird. I don't know if I'd be like when she was crawling to the back. Some people say she was trying to grab her brain. She was trying to escape. I don't know about you, but the first I shouldn't say this, and God willing, I pray to my almighty life I'm never in this predicament. If I saw any of you get blown away, the first thing I want to do is run my ass off, and the second thing I want to do is stare at you going, oh my God. That's the first reaction. I saw someone get shot. Yeah. I saw someone get blown away. And I will tell you this. My reaction was to walk up to that, and I watched this human being struggle because I was in shock. I've never seen anyone shot in person. And to see, I remember like yesterday, I can tell you my reaction was not, and again, it was a different moment in time. I'm just saying, when you take a couple steps back and you get rid and you detach your emotions, like this can't be this or that can't be that, and you really look at it, you're like, I don't know, there's some weird, I don't know.
I would be more like Goodfellas if someone got shot in front of me. I'd be like, you're really going to waste that many towels on this guy? Is that what you're wasting on this guy? Don't you remember in Goodfellas when the guy's studying?
You're
like,
a real
jerk. You
know that? You're
Why
a
would you do
real,
that?
you're wasting all these good towels. Get out of here. Get out of here.
I'm a New Yorker. You get shot in front of me, I got tunnel vision. That ain't my business. I'm walking right over it. Sorry, sir. That's that.
Right,
That's your situation.
All right. So Brian is clearly, I'd like to bring in the other vote. Me and Jimmy could go out there and we will.
Not always. No, it depends. It depends on the conspiracy. I'm into the UFOs. The UFOs is the weirdest shit.
All right. Let's give him another.
Yeah, but you know what I like?
What?
Even the voice of skepticism is open to, yeah, that's a possibility. Oh, that's a possibility. And I listen, I think that's where I think humanity is growing up. Sorry, dark side. Sorry, the Darth Vaders of the world. But it's like a little kid goes, you go boo, right? And it scares the shit out of your little brother, right? And then one day he just gets old enough where you go boo, and he's like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yes. And humanity's grown up going, okay, Omicron.
Yeah, but remember,
right.
Keep in mind.
I swear I belly laughed when I saw Omicron, whatever it was. I belly laughed. I'm like, they got to come out with the next Osama bin Laden, or you know what I mean?
And what are we doing? Motorhead tour now? Next, it's Omicron. 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 People in Japan, Omicron is taking over the city. What about Delta? Delta didn't work. We got to scare more. Omicron. Omicron. The people of the world, Omicron has been leaked out. Run for your lives. It doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or not vaccinated. Omicron will infiltrate anything.
So, Brian.
Yes.
What if I told you? Right away you're going to say bullshit. I told you Corona doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. What's your first thought?
Well, I'm not going to believe you.
Okay.
Good answer.
but you believe...
Who are you asking? Who am I? I'll believe a medical professional.
You'll believe a medical professional.
Yeah, and it's somebody who I trust. I didn't say Dr. Fauci. That's where you were going to jump to.
No.
Everyone jumps to Fauci. First of all, I don't trust Fauci either. No doctor I've ever met in my life has been named Tony. Go get a guy I know who studied. I don't trust a guy named Tony. Tony could change my car, like the oil in my car. But I go, he's not somebody I trust with medical advice. I'm not going, hey Tony, hey Tony, what's going on? No, I don't trust that guy. Give me a Rosenberg or somebody. You know what I mean? I'll take that guy I listen to. Now, if you tell me Corona,
you listen to Dr. Silverstein?
Silverstein, I'll listen to. Silverstein's got my vote.
First name?
But
you trust
Eisenberg, give me Eisenberg. I don't care. Give me somebody.
He trusts Sauls. Okay. All right.
If you tell me that Corona doesn't exist, well, as I can only judge by what I have seen personally, not what anyone else has told me.
Wait, okay. Go ahead.
Because I know multiple people who did have it. Now, their symptoms weren't bad. Their symptoms were okay. They tested positive for COVID. They were okay. Now, it was fluish to them. Now, some people, right? Here's the thing. Some people, they might get it worse. I don't know. I'm not that. I don't know. I don't know if they get it worse. But also, who's to say that it's just COVID making it worse? Maybe it's something else. I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not that person. So it's hard for me to say. But if a medical person, a doctor, that's who I listen to. If I go to the doctor and they go, look, you have the flu or you have strep throat or you have this, I go, okay, I don't know. I'm not doing research. And I like when people tell me that they do research. I go, well, you didn't put your white coat on and light up the Bunsen burner. You Googled it like I did. So let's not get ahead of ourselves with the research from,
Let me
What do
ask
you got, Jimmy?
All right, let's stay away from research. Let me ask you a question. How many people do you know that got the flu last year?
A bunch of people got the flu.
The flu?
Yeah, last year. Yeah, just the flu, not COVID.
This year. Let's say this year.
You're talking about when the times of COVID. You're saying, I know what you're getting at. You're saying that the flu is taken over for COVID. That the flu went.
He's asking you, who do you know that got the flu? They called you up, Brian, and said, dude, I got the flu.
I know 2 people offhand that got the flu and did not get COVID. They had the actual flu. They tested positive for the flu and didn't have COVID because they thought it was COVID. This year, within the last, they had it in, it's got to be February of this year.
I had it 2 weeks ago.
Okay. The actual flu.
I don't know. Wasn't I with you in Connecticut?
Oh, yeah, you were sick there.
I was a Met.
Yeah, you were sick. Yeah.
Now,
you were sick there. He was over Jim had he had a towel over the
Stove.
sink. I came into his room and he's like, "You can come in." I'm like, "Why is the door open? Why is the door open?"
He's
like that.
At Vicks, he had me putting Vicks on my feet and putting socks on it.
But that works, though.
I gotta say, it worked.
That's an old grandmother thing.
Yeah. I like it.
It worked.
I like it.
I want to get into some other stuff here. Sure. Now, the thing to get you here, Brian.
What do you got?
Epstein's Island, which now the case is all going on, which why it's not in the front and center of media is mind-boggling to me. We could follow Michael Jackson forever. We can follow the whatever case. They'll make your mind go, ooh, racism and anti-gun and anti-vax. But here's the biggest case in the world as we know it: stealing children by the hundreds and thousands and giving them to the most powerful people in the world. And this trial is right now, and you don't hear a peep about it. Now,
it's weird.
Very weird. Now let's go some weirdness here. I'm not saying this is it. Can we get a picture of Epstein's Island, blue and white and all that jazz? Do you have that, Mike?
You know, for a guy who had this much money, I think it should have been nicer. But that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, you call that an island?
I mean, you call that an island. Have you ever seen Richard Branson's island? That thing is an island. This looks like a house in Florida, but all right.
Do you have a better picture, Mike? Like it's like a blue and white.
Oh, this is it though. Yeah, this is good. That's the helicopter landing. That's where he flew him in.
Yeah,
right. But there is a temple on the island that you really can't see in that picture. And
you can't see the picture. And I need that picture in order to go to the next area I'm going. So there's this. It basically is palm trees.
Yeah.
And his blue and white temple.
There you go.
I thought.
I like how it's underneath Ellen.
Now look at Ellen's set. Enlarge that. Look at Ellen's set.
Yeah.
And look at Epstein's Island. Even the way she's sipping that coffee. Do you think that's a coincidence? Just a question.
Trees.
Blue and white building.
Yeah.
Do you think a coincidence? Brian?
Well, here's my question to it. Whether it's a coincidence or not is not. Let's say it is. Let's say it's not a coincidence. They did it on purpose because Ellen goes to the island frequently and whatever. I don't see the point of letting everyone know that you're doing it without. Like, what's the point? All right, so that's there. That's real. So what's the point?
I got an answer for you. When you're in a gang, mafia, drug lord, the Red Hat Club, the Legion, the Elks, the Masons, you communicate with symbols, colors, passwords, the way you dress. You know it because you're in the club. but the world don't know it. Would you agree to that?
I don't know. The mafia guys like letting everyone know that they were in the mafia. They didn't subtly tell us.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Secret
I mean, I see what you're talking. Yeah, there's always if it's secret and elite. My father always said it was never good. Okay, so secret and elite is never good. He always said that. He goes, if it's some big, it's this scary thing that or it's a secret club that only certain people are in. My dad was like, yeah, something's wrong, something's up, something seems to be a problem, right? Well, so I mean, I see what you're getting at. Whereas, yeah, you could make that connection for sure between the two. But all right, so she's communicating it. All right, so I mean.
She's one of she's saying I'm one of them. Go ahead, Jimbo.
Okay.
That's a possibility. It's a little weird. My wife says, "Oh, that's just." Now, there's a deeper connection in the conspiracy world that those colors go so far back as a communication to this pedophilia world. It goes all the way even connected to Disney and then some. What is Disney's blue and white and the castle and the stripes? Now, what did Epstein do? He took children, boys and girls, pedophilia, sodomy, disturbing, demonic evil. Show me a clip of Disney's Pinocchio, the bar scene. I'm going to ruin Pinocchio now. I want everyone to watch this.
Pinocchio sucked anyway.
Before you listen, before we play this, you would kidnap children, supposedly. They stole children, boys, girls.
You're talking to Epstein.
To go to Epstein's Island, which is also Treasure Island. Listen to this scene in Disney from the 40s that you didn't see, but they put it out there in the open. Go ahead.
So they're singing, all right? They're going into a little tavern, and here's some corrupt animals talking about doing bad things, making money. And the fox is all hopped up because he's a low-level criminal. He's enjoying that he's a thief and he's a criminal. He does sneaky, terrible things.
Is that Ellen?
And it's not fully paid. Plenty.
Now this nasty creature in the end is watching. And he offers the fox a huge money deal. And he says, we steal little boys and bring them to Pleasure Island.
Some real money. Well, and who do we have to...
But is Epstein even alive at the 1940s?
Nothing like that.
Is Epstein the newer guy, just like the new prince? Does it matter? This is how far back this possibility is going.
So he's sending them out to get boys?
Yeah, listen what he says. Listen what he says.
Yeah.
Listen what he says.
Come on, Jimmy. Jimmy, you can't read the closed captioning there? Come on. And it's language.
He starts whispering to the fox what he does, and the fox goes, what? But watch what he says at the end. It's so evil. And the fox goes, what? And then we what? All right. Now he's saying the horrible things he does.
Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island.
Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island.
Suppose they... No. There's no risk. They never come back as boys.
Stop. So he says the fox reacts. Why would the fox react in a Disney movie? You bring them to Pleasure Island, and he goes, Pleasure Island? So the fox clearly knows about Pleasure Island. And then he goes, no, no, no. They don't come back as little boys. Dude, that is dark and creepy. What does that mean? Is that just coincidence? I leave that to you.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Disney was an anti-Semite, so I mean, anything's possible.
Well,
That's a fact. He didn't like Jewish people.
right.
What do you think he means when he says they don't come back as little boys? What do you think he means?
I couldn't tell you. You're asking me to read subcontext of a script. I mean, yeah, it could absolutely mean what you are saying.
I'm not saying what I'm saying is what it is.
No, I have no idea what it means. I couldn't tell you. It's definitely weird. That's definitely a weird. It's like a weird thing that to have that in a children's movie for sure. For sure, it's a weird. I mean, it's weird in any movie, even like a porn movie. That would be weird. You'd be like, "What do you mean you're doing a little bit?" Like you'd be like, "Well, it's, you know what I mean?" I thought everyone was consensual here. It's definitely weird.
Fox goes Pleasure Island in terror, and in horror. And he goes, no. They don't come back as little boys.
Now, could they have met Harvey Weinstein? Is that possible?
None of those people even existed yet.
No.
That's when they say the conspiracy is you don't know how far back this goes.
Right.
How deep embedded it is. And if it's already in Disney, God knows the power of Disney. And if Disney's in and owns all this, and their best corporates with this and that and this, that's how the conspiracy began. Now, again, people will be like, oh, it's too much and that's stupid and that's wacky. Is it stupid, wacky, and all that because you don't want to think about it? Because I can respect that. A lot of people don't want to think about that. If it's truly that dark and demonic and evil and satanic, they don't want to think that exists. Right. Or it just, dude, that's absolutely not. I choose to say anyone that doesn't even think about it, most likely because they don't want the real answer.
True.
Right. Don't ask a question you don't want the answer to. Yeah.
It's like it's in the what do you call it? In the Matrix. He basically says, I'm just offering you the truth. Nothing more, nothing less.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing to win or gain, to gain or lose. It's the truth. But once you know the truth,
you can't go back.
Can't go back.
Yeah. And to piggyback off that, when there's, I've always found that when there's a lot of money involved, and a lot of it, everyone has an agenda. So there's always, you're right. I don't trust a lot. Anyone who's a billionaire, I'm like, yeah, you're a terrible person because that's how you got to that point. You have to be Steve Jobs was an awful person. He was a billionaire. Jeffrey Epstein, we know, was a terrible human being. There's no doubt about it. Bill Gates comes off as I'm Mr. Philanthropist, but I'm always like, you're a billionaire though. Like you had to be a terrible person at some point. Otherwise, you can't be a nice person to be a billionaire. I haven't seen one. Dude. I haven't seen a nice billionaire.
He invested. He made all his money. And by the way, people forget he was being questioned by the feds. And there's a very creepy video of him being investigated way back when. Because he basically created Microsoft, but he also created viruses that only he can fix. So
yeah, it was hilarious.
So he unleashed the viruses, and you had to use him to fix it. He also, after this went down, everyone knew about him, and he was on the outs. So with his money, he hired through multi-hundreds of millions of dollars, because when you have $1 billion, you can use hundreds of millions of dollars to promote yourself in advertising. And everyone knows advertising sells and manipulates. Why do you buy Cheerios because they spend $50 billion telling you Cheerios is really good for you. Why do you buy Coca-Cola and eat McDonald's? Because they spend $50 billion in promoting, knowing they're going to make $60 billion. So Bill Gates then got involved with what? Vaccines.
He said it was the best investment he ever made.
And he knows nothing about healthcare.
Right.
Agreed.
About doctor degree. Zero. He has no degree in medicine. He's been to Epstein's private jet multiple times. And this is who we're not questioning because he's a billionaire and he's smart.
So Jimbo, I'm sorry. Let me read something to you.
Just a conspiracy.
This was Mike might actually have this clip. It's like a brown. It's actually a clip from that magazine we were talking about, the JFK magazine, right? In 1997, his interview with Bill Gates. Read that. All right.
For me.
Okay, I'll read it for you, right? It says, this is Bill Gates talking in his interview, right? He goes, oh, and then there's Microsoft, right? Company that gets involved in very few political things. My only views are those that I'd expect from somebody who feels like he's been very, very lucky and has the resources under his command, really society's resources. He's saying his money is really, I need to give it back to society. So I have to be clever about how I'm going to funnel those back in. I fund education projects.
Yeah.
I fund population control, and I'm big on the United Way. That's Bill Gates, his own word. That's another clip that you can't find in this magazine. That's not in the clips you're going to see, the little PDFs you're going to find of this magazine online. Right. But that comes straight from that magazine. It's going for like $5,000 on eBay right now if you want to buy a copy.
Well, I'll just say this. One of the creepiest videos that I saw is when again, this is conspiracy world. We're in a bunker. None of it's true. We're just
let's go there.
Ellen DeGeneres during COVID was videotaping from home. And I don't know if it's still on her Instagram. It was the creepiest, weirdest. She had no makeup on, and that's not the point. She looked disheveled, weird, and but there was a guy outside pacing back and forth her window.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's the
I want to be happy here.
And she had a shirt that said "Run, Forrest, Run," with this bizarre bowl in front of with these like gothic keys. It was very bizarre. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna do a magic trick because Blaine taught me. And she kept bringing up the number 6. Here's a 6. And here's another 6. And 6 again. Oh, well, I guess I can't do it. I'm sitting there going.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It made me uncomfortable. And all of a sudden she's gone. Yeah, where's Ellen? The show doesn't. And then Alec Baldwin hosted. And it was all sexual innuendos with Disney and children. Watch that episode when Alec Baldwin hosts. It ends with a child as if he's blowing Pluto.
Right.
And it's all sexual innuendos. And he's like, and the Ellen audience is like, oh, God. Children giving blowjobs is so entertaining. Oh my God, there's a kid pretending he's getting it up the ass. Oh my God, this is Disney and Ellen, and her set looks like Epstein's Island. And we're talking about pedophilia, but it's so funny. Not Ellen, she's amazing. So is Cosby.
Right.
It stinks. It stinks.
So anyway,
No.
that is we'll have ending comments, but that's just the world. This is conspiracy world. We're not saying it's true. We're not saying we believe it. We're just saying that's just a little wacky to think about. I'm not making accusations by no means. I'm just saying when I see
This is all allegedly.
it's all allegedly, but the fact of that set, it's a little weird that it looks like Epstein's Island. It's a little weird. The fact is that Disney has a movie scene from Pinocchio, which gets darker and creepier when they're trying to, the donkey's like a child. And
Oh, that is so sad. You got to play that clip. It's heartbreaking.
And the child disheveled on the island and put in a cage, but he's a donkey.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, I'm not alluding. I'm just saying it's all stuff I find just a little weird. So I'll leave it up to you. I also find weird that when Alec Baldwin hosted, and I'm not saying I have nothing against Alec Baldwin. I'm just saying I'm not sure on Ellen's very clean, fun, does everything for the world. Here, I take care of everyone. She basically allows an episode of her show hosted by Baldwin about sexual innuendos with children at Disney and ends with a child blowing Pluto. And the whole audience thinks it's cute and funny. I'm just saying it's a little wacky. Little wacky.
To be fair, Ellen was also waterboarding her interns, so anything's possible down at the Ellen show. And that's a fact. We know she was actually like waterboarding interns. So.
You know what's really funny? I'm going to drop a bomb on you guys right now. I wanted to marry Ellen.
Really?
Thank God you didn't.
Hand to God. When I started doing stand-up comedy, I would see Ellen DeGeneres, and I thought me and her would be the absolute perfect couple. I thought she was adorable, cute. I loved her eyes. I loved her sense of humor. I thought we would suck. When she meets me, we'd have so much fun. We would suck face. It was like we'd go into a new universe. We'd be in the stratosphere of love and energy. And I was going to marry Ellen DeGeneres. And then she's like, yeah, no, I suck face with chicks.
Was it her pantsuit that turned you on? I'm confused.
What?
She had long hair.
Was it her pantsuit that really turned you on? Was that her? She wore pantsuits for the longest time.
No, dude, I don't care. She just was a cool chick to me. I don't know anything about her, and I don't want to make accusations, but I'm saying I thought I was going to marry Ellen, and I was always heartbroken I couldn't get on her show. But now I'm like, you know what? I don't know.
Thank God for unanswered prayers.
Anyway. You have anything to say before we end this?
Me?
Yeah.
No, just that this was great. It was like the old days, and we have so much more we could talk. We didn't even nothing.
We didn't
that much of the surface.
Yeah, we just scratched the surface today. We could have been talking for hours. I like how Brian is completely not even close to where we are. We need that balance. We need because
here's the thing. I'm with you on some things, but then listen, JFK Jr. just had too much money. That's why that magazine was made. All right.
Fair enough.
It's possible.
See,
my final words.
It's possible, you guys. It's coming back down to earth.
Yeah.
No, I like it. I actually enjoyed this. This was actually very fun.
Well, we're going to have a lot more for you next week. A lot more. And I'll tell you what, you, the listeners, why don't you tell us some
please
conspiracies on this? And go far and wide. Now you got to remember, so I'm not saying I believe all this. I'm just saying it's interesting it's just entertaining to think about. So I'll leave the comments up to you. If you want us to look into things, please do. but we need some pictures and things, something to play around with.
Yeah.
I want to thank Jimbo. It's a great reunion.
Fun.
We had a lot of fun on Brew Unleashed. And Brian, it's a pleasure.
I'm happy to be here.
And I will see you later today. And
Oh yeah, right, tonight. Yep, and tomorrow.
Mike, I wish you the best, and we will all catch up soon. Welcome to Breuers Bunker. It's time for us to go back on top of the earth and get out of the bunker. By the way, don't spend too much in the bunker. You gotta love life. You gotta let love in. You gotta let light in. And if it gets too far in you, I always say this. Well, now what? Well, let's say Let's say JFK Jr. is alive. Let's say Ellen is that person. Let's say it does really all intertwine. Now what? We could talk about it to enjoy your life, enjoy your children, enjoy nature, enjoy letting goodness in, love and laughter. That will save us all. Have a good one. Later, guys.
See you later.
This is going to be a Broadway play in 3 years.
6 foot safe.
You look great, Grandpa. Take out your cameras for selfies because Jim wanted his head sticking out the edge of the cannon. Oh my God, I love these. Sexist, racist, rights, gay rights, people rights, human rights.
For what you are about to receive.
And may you all have love and laughter in this crazy lifetime we're living.